is Thursday, December the 11th, 2025. Was that 14 days? 14 days. Have you done it? Have you finished the Christmas shopping yet? If you're watching on YouTube or Spotify, you can see my mug. I'm drinking some hot tea out of my Black Santa mug. And I'm so glad to be hanging out with you. Welcome to the Carlos Whittaker podcast. Episode, I don't even know what episode it is. Can I tell you all something? I have been podcasting every week. Since when? Since 2020? Was it? 2020? I think it was 2020. It's 2020. It's almost 2020 freaking 6. That's a lot of words. Thank you for being here. I'm going to fade the music out here. Thanks for being here. Thanks for coming up to the end of the year with me. I want to talk about a few things. First of them being, what do I want the first thing to be? There's really only two things. Let's just start here. It's been 9 months since I buried my dad. And last week I went back to the grave for the very first time. I wasn't ready. I'm still not sure I am, but I went anyway. And it changed something in me. It changed. I think what it changed in me is the understanding that grief isn't just something that happens to you. It's something that you have to walk into. Yes, grief happens to me, and it's happened to me the last 9 months or however long it's been, right? Like sitting in the car and a song comes on, boom, grief. Laying it in bed at night and memory pops in, boom, grief. A certain smell. Walking over to my mom and dad's house, like grief hits me. It happens to me. But what I learned as I have been avoiding visiting my father's grave is that sometimes you have to choose to walk into it. So, I knew that I was going to be in LA. I knew that about 3 months ago. I got booked for a few nights there speaking, and I just knew. And I knew my mom was going to be there. I didn't know what it was going to look like, but I just remember feeling very uncomfortable at the thought of there's no way I can land in LA, because I've landed in California a few times since, either on a layover or something, and was not able to go to the grave, so I had an excuse. But I was like, there's not going to be any excuses this time. So even when Whitney was booking the flight for me, I remember thinking oh my gosh, what time am I going to land? Maybe can I land at a time where I'm going to have to go straight somewhere else and I'm not going to be able to go? All of these thoughts were going through my brain. And then when I left LAX and I got on a little Hertz bus and I went to Hertz and I stepped on that concrete jungle pavement of Los Angeles, there was a almost a propulsion of me towards my father's grave, to stand on the soil that he did so much of his life on, to stand on the soil that he loved so much, to stand on the soil that created me. It was, I could feel it. There was just something there. I had a lot of work to do that week, but all I was thinking about was, I'm supposed to go see him. It was a few days before I was able to. I went, picked Heather up, and I had a speaking event. Was it that night or maybe the next night? Anyway, all that to say, on the way, I think it was a couple days later, on the way there, and of course, my wife's with me, so I'm like, do you mind if you come with me? And she's like, of course not. I'd love to come with you. And on the drive there, I remember thinking, what am I supposed to feel? I actually didn't feel sad. And I think it was weird because I'd like um watched my mom, kind of visit his grave numerous times in the last few months, and she's crying, and I'm like, why don't I feel sad? Why don't I feel like crying? I actually kind of felt excited. I don't know, like I was gonna go visit him, even though I know he's not there. Just kind of like, oh, finally, I get to hang out with him. It was really interesting. And we drive to Rose Hills, and I remember I like had to go to the bathroom, and I haven't told anybody this, so you guys, podcast, you guys need to know that y'all get the good stuff, okay? Um, we I had to go to the bathroom, so and it was a Saturday. Oh, it was a Saturday. Oh, it was way later in the week, and because I got there on Monday. I had to go to the bathroom, and I knew where my dad's grave was, kind of ish. But I was like, let's just turn into like the main mortuary kind of part, because Rose Hills is a gigantic property. I mean, it's the side of a mountain, so it's huge. You get lost driving around. So I go in, I go to the restroom, and I'm like, coming out of the restroom, and there was a man pulling another older gentleman, probably looked about my dad's age, in a wheelchair, kind of pulling him in. He's like, oh, I'm sorry. So I stepped out, and a woman is standing there smiling, and she goes, Carlos Whittaker? I was like, yes. And she's like, oh my gosh. She goes, I just was telling my sister that your dad's buried here too, because we just buried my mom like an hour ago. I was like, whoa. And I gave her a hug. I said, I'm so sorry. And she goes, I don't know why. I follow you. I've read all your books. And it just gives me comfort. I can't believe I got to see you. I had the thought cross my mind that maybe I'd run into you because your dad's buried here. I was like, this is the first time I've ever visited his grave. I haven't even done it yet. And anyway, it just was this like really serendipitous moment of seeing an Insta Familia member who watched the journey of my father's dementia, who watched me walk him to the finish line. To be able to see one of you was special. Pretty cool. So if you're listening to this, whoever you were, I forgot your name already. I'm glad I got to see you. So I walked back outside, and I was like, babe, there's an Insta Familia in there. Like I literally can't have to be on my best behavior all the time. So now I'm relieved, and I'm like, the last thing I wanted to do was like have to like go to the bathroom the whole time I was at my dad's grave. That's taken care of. Now I'm relaxed. We go, and I'm like, no, I don't want to look up the marker. I just want to remember where we were when we put him in the ground. And so like I went, I knew the lot, but then I went a couple of the wrong places. I'm like, was there a tree there? And then I finally found it, and it was so exciting. It was like a little scavenger hunt. I was like, I found you. And yeah, I didn't feel what I thought I was going to feel. Then you start judging yourself. And then I started judging myself. Oh, why am I not crying? What's happening? Like, why am I not sad? Like, Dad, like I'm supposed to be sad. I wasn't. And then I just was like, I need to stop trying to feel something and just sit here. So Heather took a couple photos of me, and which was kind of weird, but whatever. I'm glad she took them. I sat down on the ground. I'm not flexible. And something about sitting on the ground, kind of cross-legged. I don't know. Just made me feel like a child. And then I started to feel something, and like I'm feeling even right now, but it still wasn't sadness. And then Heather walked to the car. And, it was just when I was alone, but I just was like, Dad, like, I'm sorry. I started feeling like I'm sorry that I didn't turn out the way that I struggled with more things than maybe you wanted me to struggle with. And I just started thinking, like, what was his struggle? My struggles have been so deep and so dark. Did he struggle with anything? I don't mean, of course he did, but I never saw it. And it was just the craziest turn of emotion. Um, and I got back in the car and I sat down and I just started crying. I was like, what? Why do I struggle so much more than my dad? Yeah, there's like, you don't know what he struggled with. And I don't know why that was the thing that came out of me. Not wanting to be a disappointment to him. And as quickly as I felt that, I just felt like God was like, he is so proud of you. He will be so proud of you. He was so proud of you. And he knew. Because there's some struggles I never talked to my dad about. You know, my wife knows everything about me. Like, I'm a man of no secrets. I haven't always been. But just in the reckoning of the loss of my dad and a lot of therapy this year, and it's the freest I've ever been. I'm as free as I've ever been. But my dad didn't, and I think that's why there was just such pain. You know, that I knew I was hiding things from him. But then I just felt like God was very clear, telling me that he knew. I didn't have to tell him. And I think I know as a father myself. I know. I know when my kids are struggling. I pretty much know what they're struggling with. They don't have to tell me. So what do? I pray. And I love them. And I do exactly what my dad did for me. Did you know 3 out of 4 U.S. homes have toxic chemicals in their tap water? Listen, even though contaminated water looks clear, of course, it could put you at risk for devastating health concerns. Devastating. I'm talking about not just fatigue or cognitive decline. Those are devastating, but even cancer. Surprisingly, standard fridge and pitcher fillers do little to remove most contaminants, and bottled water contains microplastics. So, my friends, what is the solution? Y'all have heard me talk about it before. Introducing AquaTrue, the countertop water purifier tested and certified to remove 84 contaminants, including chlorine, lead, forever chemicals, and microplastics. Its patented 4-stage reverse osmosis system goes way beyond ordinary filters for pure, healthy water you can trust. No plumbing, no installation. We got one upstairs right now. Listen, I want you guys to head right now to aquatrue.com for 20% off your purifier using promo code HUMANHOPE. AquaTrue even comes with a 30-day money-back best-tasting water guarantee. That's aquatrue.com, AQUATRU.com, promo code HUMANHOPE. I think the reason why I avoided grief, at this part of the grief, right? Because again, I kept trying to figure out why it took me 9 months. It wasn't distance. It wasn't being busy. I think it was this. I think I just wanted to avoid it. You know, we avoid what we can't control. And I don't think I wanted to have lack of control. I've been kind of like holding my grief together. I definitely think we avoid the places that make loss real. This isn't for all of you. I just wrote a couple of these down. I think we avoid emotions that we don't know how to let out. But it came out so differently when I was standing there in silence, that finally being there was the thing I needed to do. It was healing. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to feel, but it just came. You know, and I said on my post that if grief is just love with nowhere to go, then maybe standing there was exactly right, because I didn't know what to do. I just I want all of you to know that are navigating. I don't know where this is going, this whole conversation, but I'm just letting it out. That I'm learning. This is my first holiday season without my dad. So like, I'm not a grief expert. There's grief experts out there. I'm just going to tell you what it is for me. Someone's missing. Someone can be missing in your family right now for the first time. Again, it could be the first Christmas without a parent. It's the first Christmas with that empty chair. I have a feeling I'm going to be opening gifts with a lump in my throat. The photos already feel like daggers. There's traditions that feel fragile. Already I was in New Orleans with a friend of mine that like both his parents are older than my dad was when he passed away, and they're super healthy, and they're just, I'm feeling all of those things. And I need to let you know that if you're struggling right now with loss during the holiday, nothing is wrong with you, and there's nothing to be fixed. You're not broken. You're grieving. And grieving is part of loving. So as I'm feeling in this holiday season, joy and sadness, I think I realized really quickly that they're not opposites, they're neighbors. And I said this in my post, that you can be grateful and heartbroken at the same time. So some of the things that I think I learned just in the 20 minutes I was there, I think my healing may have begun at this part of the grieving journey of my dad. That healing may have begun when I stood at a stone. And so I think that grief requires participation. I think you have to choose to participate, or it's just going to be waiting. You can either lock yourself in a room, but when you open the door, it's going to be right there. And it's actually going to be in the room with you too. You can just pretend like it's not. So I think the first lesson there is that grief requires participation. I also think that you don't have to be ready to show up. I wasn't ready. I'm still not sure I'm ready, but I was there. I also know that healing, I've had various healing journeys or moments in my journey this year, just with, my family and other things. But healing isn't loud. It's quiet. It's slow. It's standing in a field whispering, "Hey, Dad, did you struggle like I struggled?" Grief is not the enemy. I think unattended grief is. So attend it this holiday season, attend those fragile traditions, attend the pain. Because I need to let you know something, like I am going to be feeling all of those gut-wrenching feelings this entire holiday season. So if you're feeling them, just think to yourself, well, so is Carlos. Gosh, I'm groaning in agony of the loss. Yeah, so is Carlos. If you're listening to this and someone is missing this year, I'm with you. You're not alone. You don't have to be ready to face your grief. You just have to be willing. So I kind of wrote out like a little send off for you. May you give yourself permission to feel what you feel. May you find sacredness in the small moments. May you give your love a place to go. May you know you're not broken, you're grieving. So Dr. Fermin Agustin Whittaker, here's to first of hopefully many questions I have for you at your grave. I love you and I miss you. And to anyone else missing someone, you're allowed to say it out loud. You're allowed to walk into it. You're allowed to heal at your own pace. I think that's it. See you next week.